Hi everyone, Sarah here, and this is my journey with EQ. A quick context, I went for a workshop in 2013 and waited 7 years to finally start unlocking my EQ. July brought me this report and it highlighted how my area for growth was knowing myself. I thought I knew myself well, but I found out later I knew my purpose, not really myself. August saw me through the Brain Profiler course, where I learned that data mining and modeling were my lowest, with reflection at the top. What was interesting was, although my drive was the highest, the talents were not in the top 3. So I used my strength actively throughout the period before EQPC to prep for it. A blessing in disguise was that, at that time, it was also a high-stress period where work piled up and fatigue kicked in. And as we all learned, it's when we are likely to get emotional hijacked. I realized I was quick to push my emotions aside, therefore limiting my options, and I allowed non-acknowledgement of emotions to then escalate, which created a maladaptive line. And of course, the result was poor family and friends had to receive the brunt of my outburst when it came. Not to be all negative, my strengths were also true. Having vision and knowing my why gave me a lot of drive, which is what helps me to still turn up for work. Debrief for the leadership report came, and it framed up my reflection in the 8 competencies so beautifully. I had a goosebump moment as I learned that my strength is in empathy. It showed that 7 years of working on my empathy is coming to fruition, and it gives me hope as I could grow in these new areas. So that night, we worked on my noble goal, and Sue encouraged me to use my strength in empathy to think of how to practice EQ with myself. And so it began, the 3-day journey to becoming a practitioner. Woohoo! How do I feel? Nervous, scared, hopeful, excited, anticipation, happy, concerned. 7 years of waiting, saving up. Those emotions did make sense. What did I learn? Well, I started learning about my patterns, which was fueled by my mask and caused me regrets in life. Why? Because I allowed my emotions to escalate. But I also learned how to transform that, tap into my noble goals, use my strength in empathy, which fuels my intrinsic motivation and in turn feeds my optimism, which will increase my resilience when things get stressful. And this increases my emotional literacy and my ability to name it so I can tame it, so that I can start building on new patterns. My, what a cycle, huh? Which is why this model is a circle, not a list, because I know now it is a process and I will keep growing. And in the overwhelming 3 days where we came out of it feeling hit by a magic truck that somehow appeared in different countries, where does that leave me now? Well, I now feel like Iron Man with the mask, where I'm now learning to process so much more data and also seeing more options as I learn to recognize my patterns, to navigate them, and grow in my ability to embrace and acknowledge my emotions. And in the span of less than a week since we ended the 3-day course, I see now, as I'm going through a huge shift in life, that I'm able to process my emotions better and be smarter with it. And that brings back the heart of it all, that there is hope to grow, to lovingly work on my goal, and ultimately, as I do that, bring me true joy.